Welcome to the Everyday Money Podcast. My name is Mary Jane Dasser, and I'm here with entrepreneurs. We're going to discuss expense management and corporate governance. I will let them introduce themselves and what they do. So, by my right, I have Wildcat, and I will let her take the introduction from here.
Hi, everyone. So, like she said, I'm Wildcat. You can call me Chef Wallace. I operate as the principal trainer at Gobi's Catering School and also creative director at Chef Wallace, where we get to... Do I need to say more? I think that's enough for now, right?
Okay. By my left, I have Nani.
Hi everyone, my name is Nani Chan. She mispronounced the name. The name is Nani Chan, but you can keep it short at Nani. Keep it short, Nani.
Nani. Okay.
Yeah, and then to avoid the risks of you biting off your tongue, so just keep it at Nani. So here I am a chief technology officer in an edtech organization, basically. So yeah, nice to be here.
Okay. I'm super excited to be here with these two people, and I think that having them here kind of like will help us to lay a foundation to the problems that businesses have in different industries. Wakas is in the hospitality industry, and Nani is in the, did I say that right now?
Yeah.
Oh, good. And Nani is in the tech industry. But I think as we continue this conversation, it will be clear for you to it will be clear going forward that businesses have similar challenges, whatever industry that they are in. I was going through doing some research and found out that 46% of businesses fail because they run out of cash. Not because their services are not needed or because people don't need what they provide, but because they run out of cash. And it is a popular saying, small businesses don't last. After 5 years, small businesses are folding up. And them running out of cash is the second highest reason why they fold up. Why do you think that is, Nani? Why do you think businesses fail in 5 years?
So in most cases, right, it boils down to policies governing each business, right?
Right.
Should have policies that are governing or that they follow strictly in order to help them manage finance generally in the organization. Not just finance generally, but then there should be policies in place to checkmate every activity in an organization, in the organization. Now, if you are narrowing it down to the finance department or the finance section of a business, then businesses fail most times because of lack of financial policy document. And then it's one thing to have a financial policy document, but then it's another thing to follow those policies strictly. Now, for example, an organization should have like levels of approvals when we want to disburse funds to buy, let's say, a laptop. The tech space. So one of the things you most frequently see organizations buying, or want to buy a laptop. Now, how and when should the funds for that laptop be disbursed? And I raised, let's say, a request for funds to buy the laptop. Now, who does it go to? Who approves it? And after approvals, and then how many people should approve before the funds get disbursed? So those are the kind of policies that if you don't have in place, then you don't have a tool or a mechanism to checkmate your spending, and then you don't have a tool to fall back to, because to govern your financial spending and so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, you can overspend because there's no accountability generally, and it also so it's basically an issue, because that's why most companies fail within the first 5 years, because of lack of proper documentation and financial policies that have been put in place.
Okay. So Wakat, I can hear Nani talking like a tech person and doing policies and all of that, but you are a sole proprietor. You own your own business, you control your business, you control the finances, you disburse it. Do you have a process? I mean, processes. When I mean process, do you have like a system where there needs to be a certain kind of approval? This person has to approve, this person has to approve, and the other person has to approve before funds are disbursed.
Okay, like you said, right, it's sole proprietorship at the moment. So unlike a limited liability where you have stages and people that need to sign what for approval, it's basically you having these funds come into, whether it is your business account, like for me, there's a corporate business account, right, for the business. So money comes in to that account, and whatever needs to be done based on whatever project, whether it is a cocktail event or food catering and all of that, or even the training where resources go into accounts set apart for that purpose. Money is solely disbursed by the principal sole proprietor, which is Chef Wallace, right? So there's no one to check, but there has to be a discipline of control. Okay, how do I, because there is no system that is checking, how do I manage these funds without having to encroach into using it for other things which are personal? Right? So there are times that you find out that yes, it's difficult to actually say out of 10 you're maybe 8 you're trying, which is the reality. Because if you look at it, if you want to employ the services of an accountancy, what is the how much do you intend to pay this person in terms of finance? Because a lot of businesses right now in the economy, everybody is trying to cut down on cost to stay in business, as well as to also be able to have more resources to sustain the business and to be able to save, right? So that is it's a bit of a challenge as an SME, but then you have to continue to do that until you're able to get either a digital solution or
so maybe your business
grows to the point where you're able to invite other checkmates, platforms, systems for that to happen.
Okay, so now all of us we have all been speaking English because everybody is doing processes in place. We are saying let's be real, let's come to the table, because I've done business before and I know that after I have said, okay, I'll pay myself 200k at the end of the month, and something comes up, bam, I go inside my accounts, I remove the money, and I tell myself, I will put it back. I'll put it back later, but I don't put it back later.
Exactly.
And there are many businesses that have that kind of problem out there, right? Because there is no check in place, right? And I think we were having this discussion before we started this, and we said businesses or CEOs do not understand that they are supposed to be subject to a system.
Accountable.
Accountable to the system. So Nani, do you have any personal experience that you would like to share? I mean, you said you are
exactly. So if you notice during my introduction, I did not specifically mention, I just said from an edtech space, right? So I used to be a co-founder, right? That was where I built the edtech solution. So it's our target audience were the students and publishers generally. Now I intentionally left out the company name, which I'm still going to do. So
before they sue you.
No, I don't care. I no longer have anything binding me with the company, but then let me just keep it out of the conversation.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I was a co-founder and I was also the chief technology officer. That is, I oversee everything technology.
Right.
Exactly. From the team and every. So one of my experience was that we had financial policy document, we have a solid document. I know it was a solid document because I worked on it personally. So, because that was because of a program we were attending with MasterCard Foundation. So, and one of the requirements was to have a policy document that governs everything that you're doing in the organization. And then a financial policy document was one of it. So, yes, we had the financial policy document, and it clearly states who is responsible for. It stated who is responsible for disbursing funds.
And approving.
Exactly. Now, if you are raising a request, let's say for 100,000 naira, there are a number of just one person can approve, and the funds get disbursed by the accountant, the chief financial officer, or exactly. But then once it is above 100,000 naira, now I have to step in to sign. The CEO have to step in to sign before the said funds get disbursed.
Right.
Now, so it looks like a fantastic policy, right? Which, it was a fantastic document. But then the issue we encountered, or rather the mistake we made, was that we didn't enforce the policy.
So when you say enforce, you didn't enforce the policy. Who did not allow it to be enforced?
Exactly. So that's where one of the challenge kicked in. Now, the CEO was majorly in charge of the funds of the company. So even when it comes to paying of salary, I just need, it's time to pay salary, and we're like, okay, and then we raised the salary schedule, and he disbursed the funds. So the CEO was solely in charge of disbursing funds and then making of approvals. Exactly. So that was one of the challenge that we made, or rather one of the biggest mistake that we made as an organization. That's by allowing an individual to be the sole, to be solely in control of the funds, and so anything goes. Because he's in charge of it. Anything goes.
But there is a document, right? There is a policy document. Why is that policy document not being followed?
So
fear of the CEO or something.
So anyway, there were a lot of nitty-gritties behind the scene. Now, initially, I wasn't a signatory to the company account in the first place, because the registration happened before I came on board, and then became a co-founder and then the chief technology officer. Now, I don't want to use the word we were so distracted, but then at that point, we had a program going on with MasterCard Foundation, and then we had another program going on with Innovation to Market, and then we also had another program going with there's this international body, I'm trying to recall the name, but so we had three acceleratorship programs going on at that time, and then I was deeply involved in those programs.
Right.
So change was never effected in terms of
switching from so when you came in, what you're saying is that when you came in, switching from the CEO now taking charge and taking sole decisions
exactly, and
to when you created the policy document, or when the policy document was created, that change never happened.
Yes, the change never happened. So because of that, the CEO still had the
sole power.
Control. Exactly. Yes. So he was the one and only signatory to the company account. So only him can make withdrawals to the company account. Now, in financial policy documents, everybody, all the parties involved, the co-founders are supposed to remember, documents are supposed to help organizations to be transparent in all they do. Now, talking about transparency, which means that's to say, for every transaction that happens, or for every funds that is leaving the company account, the CEO needs to be aware. CFO needs to be aware, which at the time we didn't have.
Okay.
Yes, so the CTO is supposed to be aware as well, which was clearly stated in the document as well. These parties, because I was supposed to be a signatory to the disbursement of the funds, and then he's supposed to be a signatory as well. So there was a limit to how much I can approve without him necessarily approving. So if you just need money to buy data, I mean, TechSpace, you do a lot with data, so I don't need to get to him, approve this. So I can just ask that approve and then send the documents to him.
But that never happened.
Exactly.
He was the one that was always approving.
So exactly. So that never was put into place. So everything boils down to him. He was the one doing all the approval, and he was the one doing payment of the salary. So, and then basically there wasn't transparency because I wasn't even aware of how much funds was leaving the account until at the point where I was working on the financial report for the year, and then I noticed, with such amount of dollars left the dollar account to his personal account, another money has left to his personal account. When I made inquiry, I was like, he was withdrawing the money to save in his account because of dollar rate was high at that time, so dollar to naira rate. So withdrawing at that point means you have more naira. But then at the end of the day, so where is the funds now? It's nowhere to be found.
Yes, but you would think that since it's an organization where there is a CTO, right? And you are also a co-founder, that means that decisions were supposed to be made together.
Exactly.
Not that one person is just above making. I mean, at the end of the day, right, it boils down to the CEO to say, no, we will do this, no, we will not do that. But there needs to be like a sort of discussion, like, do we do this? Do we not do this? Do we move funds? Do we not move funds? So, what now became of the organization? Because now you're sounding like it was reckless spending happening in the organization. Monies were just going to personal accounts. What then became of it? Like, how did that affect the financial state of the business, of the organization?
Okay, so it affects the financial state of the organization badly. Now, in the sense that now when it came to reporting, right, there was no transparency, nothing to report. There is no transparency in terms of the data and the spending that you're trying to report on. So ideally, you're supposed to be able to account for every funds that leaves the account, right? But then at this particular moment, we could not account for it. Yes, so and then when we realize we no longer have money, it now makes the company desperate to now raise more money. Now, because of that, it puts the company in a very, very bad spot. One, since we don't have a solid financial reporting, we cannot pitch to an investor, because when an investor is coming on board, he will like to look at, he will ask you, do you guys have how is your reporting like?
Right.
Let's see how you're reporting, because an investor is interested in, will be invested before someone invests in your company. They will be very, very interested in knowing how much you are making as a revenue, and then aside making revenue, how much are you making profit already? Because like I always tell people, there's a difference between revenue and profit. So if an investor will want to know, are you making revenue already? If are you making profit already? If no, are you making revenue? Now, they will now begin to look, what are the chances of you making profits in the future? Those are one of the key things they'll be looking at. Now, because you don't have a solid reporting system when it comes to finance, then it's a red flag. And then aside that, it raises trust issues within the parties involved, because I mean, if only one person is accountable for everything, this other person, Mr. A is responsible for everything. Mr. B doesn't know what's going on. It raises issue of concerns with Mr. B, because there's always a disconnect there. Now, because there is no check, there's nothing to check to do a check in terms of integrity and spending. Now, we ran out of funds eventually, and then we were now desperate to now raise money, and in so doing, we tried to cut down the number of staff. You get,
so people were losing their jobs because of the bad decision.
Exactly. Yeah. So cutting down the number of staffs, and then now it got to a point where salaries were slashed, right? And then it also got to a point whereby we run a subscription-based model.
Yeah.
Now we now try to cut down subscription in order to get.
So you are cutting down, like if subscription was say $2 per month, you cut it down to $1, right?
So we were doing $6 because we were not just servicing schools in Nigeria. We also had schools in Senegal, and we were trying to penetrate Ghana. Now, so we have schools already in Senegal. So we were doing $6 per month.
So you cut it down to what?
So we now had to cut it down in half. So $3.
It does not make any sense to me, because you are supposed to. You're reducing your revenue.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. So now we are cutting down on the revenue with the hope that we will get more users to make up for it. Now that was a bad.
It was going
decision.
To strain a lot.
Exactly. That was
operating cost and all.
Because there was running costs.
Actually.
So our running cost was we were raking maybe I think $900 to $1,200 in a month just to maintain the servers. Now,
that's just infrastructure.
That's just infrastructure.
That's
you
not
get to the point where you're paying yourself below your what?
Exactly. So
what was
exactly. Salary wasn't included, and other running cost was not included. So we were raking $900 to $1,200. So how do you think a company would survive? And mind you, we were new in this space. Although we got funding from MasterCard Foundation in order to run and build our user base. But then everything was just based on that fund. So we were struggling to get users as well as generate funds, because obviously you need users to generate revenue.
Yeah.
So we were struggling to generate to get the users to come on board. Now we were now struggling to maintain the platform, and we were struggling to take in feedbacks, adjust the platform based on user feedback. So there were just a lot of things that were coming in here and there. But the bottom line was that I just had to leave, because after carefully considering and then looking at what was going on, the whole environment was now became something else. It became toxic, and it didn't align with. The bottom line is, at the end of the day, there was misalignment of goals. And
the root of this is just bad financial decision.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh my goodness. So Wildcat, for Nani is that he's a part of an organization, and he was a CTO. But you are the boss of your business. You're the one that. So how many times have you removed money from your business and told yourself, I'll put it back?
A lot of times.
Have you put it back? How many percent of the time did you put it back?
Okay, so let's say I put in money today, and I put out money today, and I have personal needs for it. I'm now budgeting on a job that I am hoping is coming in the future, I'm telling myself, if I'm pulling out money from a job that I have been paid for, I know I have savings somewhere, so which I know I can't touch. So I'm like, okay, let me take from here, and before you know it, I'm taking more than I want to take out from that personal saving. Do you understand? And because I don't have anyone checkmating here and there, so I'm feeling like it sometimes it leaves me anxious. It leaves me in a place of, you're not doing this right, so you're living on anxiety, you're living on anger with yourself. So
because you're not doing the right
because
thing.
you're not doing the right thing, and nobody can tell you, because of course it's your money. But okay, so you have a financial goal. At the end of the year, yes, you're going by, you're not exactly hitting that target,
right?
But then you're just saying, okay, I'll do better next time, you know.
And then the next time comes, you don't do better because
something will now come in, and you don't have a control over it, and that is even more serious than the initial situation that you wanted to pay for.
Exactly,
you know.
So because when the new business that's coming in the future comes, right?
Yeah,
you now say another one is
coming.
So you remove what they're not supposed to
move. Yes, right, exactly. So because of course the fact still remains that because there is no that structure of check and balance, right? Whether it is a digital structure or a what do you call physical structure, that issue would always find itself within your business. You know, you have to, it's like you go this way today, you're back this way today. So it's like it's a pendulum movement. You know, if you're not careful, you may run out of business. You know, because if I take you back to like 2019 when I started running my business at a hub, you know, I could say I've grown over the years in terms of handling fun. But if I remember how I badly dealt with fun, being able to handle my resources, I would say it was really bad. Because okay, so one, as a sole proprietor and a business that is trying to grow, you cannot employ so many hands. So you're doing market runs, you're doing financing, you're doing sales, you're doing adverts all by yourself. So it's a lot, you know. And all of this money is going here, money is going there. You're not a computer, you know. Even though they say we have more brains and cell brains more than the computer, I kid you not. If you don't have someone who is helping you to document what's more important, like your financing, it will cripple you. And that crippled firstly the first setup of my business. You know. But again, if you're able to have systems in check to help you handle that, you'll be able to see a success story from your business financially, which is the most important thing, a reason why we all do business. Resources.
So now from your story and from your own story now, the problem is expense management.
Yes.
Businesses find it hard. Like businesses are finding it difficult to manage their expenses. Like what do we spend money on? Why is it important for us to spend this money on? On what decision are we what is the stuff that is in front of us that we're using to make this decision to spend this money on?
How do we stick to a budget?
Exactly.
Without having
how do you go overboard without going overboard and touching money and saying I will pay back when we never ever pay?
And then another thing is that, okay, so for you to be able to stick to a budget, we should be able to have, okay, this is the money that is available now and nothing else.
Exactly. So if you have the money that is available now, right?
Prioritizing expenses comes into play a very, very good role when it comes to such kind of decisions. How important
is the expense?
Yes, exactly.
Money
yes, so to review on it before.
If it's not very, very important, it can be important but not urgent.
Yes.
If it's important,
yes, and so I can tell you that
and urgent.
Then let's treat it now.
Let's treat it now.
Right.
Then if it's important but not urgent, you can roll it into the next
budgeting.
Exactly. So that way you don't overspend
within this period.
Although in budgeting, I think sometimes it's good to when budgeting, it's good to keep aside, let's say,
miscellaneous.
Exactly, miscellaneous. So you can now critically look at it and say, oh, does this pass as a miscellaneous? Can it fit in to the miscellaneous budget? If it doesn't, oh well, is it important? Yes. Is it urgent? No. Let's let's move it.
Yeah.
Okay, so when Nani was talking, he talks about who needs to approve this and who needs to approve this and who needs to approve it. Like I said, he works in a big organization, so he does not understand what small businesses are.
He doesn't.
Because how much money do you have to employ accountants?
Yes.
To come and how much money do you have to employ CTO? How much money do you have to employ CFO?
How much money?
And people don't
it's a lot.
I mean,
and when you
businesses
put all this money into, then what now remains? And then how much is even coming in for you to say, okay, this one, and does it even come in regularly?
So businesses, I know that businesses do not start up to fail. I don't see anybody that carries their money, puts inside a business, and then say, okay, let us fail.
Yeah.
Right. So it's difficult for small businesses to have corporate governance, like a system, and then there's a word that has been overflogged in the business space. Structure. But I don't think businesses understand what structure means, because putting a structure means that you need to be subject to that structure. And I know there are a lot of businesses that say, okay, you know what, I don't want to spend past this amount of money. I don't want to spend past this amount of money. But there's also the challenge of financial literacy. Do they know? How do they know how not to spend past this amount of money? Because wahala will come. Grandma will swallow
yes.
A grandfather will break his leg, and people are like, you are doing business now, you're a business person, so you're supposed to bring in this and
even if in a situation where you even have the structure, there's a point where, like he said, the structure was there, but then there were people handling it, there were people moving things around, so there wasn't discipline to control the funds, right? So there has to be a higher level of security management of these resources. So I feel like
a system that makes sure that everybody is subject to that policy.
Exactly. So okay. In my own case, I would say we had the structure, right? But the problem was implementation, because you can have a very, very grand plan for something. You want to build a house, you have a fantastic design drawing for it, but then at the end of the day, if you don't implement that design, it's just a design. In the tech space, there's this word we say, talk is cheap. Show me the code. Now, it's as well as, yes, I have the structure, but is it are you implementing it?
Right.
If you are not implementing it, then talk is cheap.
So I feel like for us humans, there's a way we always can move these things around. Like, it's human to human. Everybody, like in a business, if it's not something that is devoid of human control, right, you have to have a situation whereby somebody is playing easy for the money to come out. Right.
So say we have a system now, like the EverydayMoney App. That is like a system for corporate governance, for expenses management, and you keep saying human, and I get it, because if once
there's human sympathy, empathy, whatever that is, it's going to always play out.
So there's a system like EverydayMoney that does not care about your sympathy or human sympathy. That means that at the beginning of the year, or per quarter, if you're planning your business per quarter, and say, this is what we're going to, this is our goal for this quarter, this is what we want to achieve for this quarter, and this is how much we are budgeting to use for this quarter, right? So what EverydayMoney helps you do is, so at the beginning of the month, we say, okay, we're going to use $30,000 for social media management. We're going to use $20,000 for miscellaneous. We're going to use $15,000. Just helps you to put money. So it takes away that whole human factor,
control.
That you keep talking about, because now the money is locked.
Yes,
it does not allow you to touch it. Everybody in the organization now works within that budget. Everybody is strategizing. Everybody is bringing up ideas. Everybody is thinking, how do we use $30,000 to the best of our ability? How do we use $30,000 to bring in the best result? How efficient are we? So do you guys think that the EverydayMoney app as a system is something that can curtail this problem or eradicate it? And as a small business, you don't have money to pay for an accountant, but if you have a system that is in place, like an app that works for you, is that something that is that you're open to? That is it something that you think can solve this whole expense management problem?
Yeah. So one of the challenge we had, right, was we didn't have a financial accounting software. So we were basically what we were using to track the expenses was just an Excel file, which, I mean, anybody with access to it can just edit and change figures.
Yeah.
So we didn't have any tool like that in house, right? So we tried to use a third party. I think Zoho has a tool like that, and then we sampled like 2, but then the problem was those tools were ridiculously expensive. So and then we were coming up also, so we didn't have
that
the money to spare for it. And then EverydayMoney wasn't there for us yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
It didn't exist at that time.
Right.
So there was no tracking tool for.
Okay, so what you're saying now is that EverydayMoney is affordable.
Exactly. I've interacted with EverydayMoney. I've seen the fantastic thing that the tools and everything that has been put in place,
right,
in order for you to effectively govern your organization when it comes to finance and management. If we had had such kind of tools back in the day, then with the notification system in EverydayMoney, there will be more accountability and transparency, because I mean, everybody's going to be in the picture of what's going on. Yeah. So I just feel EverydayMoney is now the right. It's just the right tool now for every business out there, not just small scale businesses, but then even the large scale businesses can adopt EverydayMoney, because I mean, it's
like having an accountant in your system
that
can tell you. I mean, when I and workers were talking outside, we're talking about how it's hard for an accountant to tell a CEO, "Oh God, there's no money this month."
Yes, exactly.
No, you cannot remove money for this stuff.
Exactly.
Like maybe a CEO comes and says, "I want to borrow money and add to my salary, like salary advance and all of that."
All of those things are taken out.
Right.
All of those excuses. So it conditions your mind. I feel like EverydayMoney would condition your mind to pull out from any possibility of it keeps you serious.
Yes.
It keeps the business very organized. What it would do to the business is that it's going to make sure that all of these small changes that you would easily waste away is being put together in one place. There's no let's pull this out today, there's no human sympathy. Right. The business space is shrewd. And you have to be shrewd with your business.
Right. So now you have used your money to pay for an accountant,
and the success of your
actually.
You've used your money to pay for the success of your financial safety.
Yes.
For the business.
Yeah.
To be able to help you reach a financial goal.
Yep.
Because I want to believe that EverydayMoney is so that you can have a goal in the end.
Yes.
So that you can reach a successful journey with your business.
Yes. So that you can also grow. Because when investors come and say, how much are you spending?
Yes.
How much is coming
in? It will easily give you a template that can just. So now it takes you away from, I'm writing, this comes in today. How do I spend this one today? I don't have to worry about, because there's an automated system that's spending from a particular what is being spent. Yes.
And what comes in.
Yes. So investor can see revenue, can see goal, financial goal, whether I achieved it or not.
Yes.
But of course, the system has made it possible for me to achieve it. Because when I lock money here or lock money there is no need for me to worry.
Yeah, right.
So it will ease you off of all of those things.
With EverydayMoney, right? I have analytics at my fingertips with EverydayMoney.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, unlike before, where I'll have to manually calculate what what came into the account
and what is going on.
Let's say based on bank statement.
Right.
I have to now manually pick those incomes and then sum them up.
Yeah.
Now, there are chances that you can miss a transaction.
Right.
And then you have, aside what came in, you have to start calculating what has left, what has gone out.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, that energy, you have to put in a lot of energy and attention into that.
I mean, even as your organization grows, as your organization continues to grow, then you don't become difficult. Then you have to hire an accountant. What Everyday Money does for you, say don't hire accountants.
Exactly.
Yes.
So,
we have a system that we account it for you. Accountant that you cannot say, oh yeah, just bring 200K. We need this. Accountant that you cannot boss around. Accountant that keeps you in check. I think that small businesses need Everyday Money to help them manage their finances.
At the end of the day, with Everyday Money, I know how much has left my account.
Right.
I know, I have every detailed record of what the funds is for, what it has been labeled for.
Yeah.
If I'm disbursing funds, it has a label. At the end of the day, I have an analytic. I know how much have come in, how much has left the account, and what the money was used for. So yes, I have I can make decisions within seconds, not hours.
You're right.
Exactly, based on the fact that I already have an already made data that is available for me, because I mean, Everyday Money has done the fantastic,
the bulk of the work.
Right. Okay, so thank you guys for coming to Everyday Money Podcast. It was a very, very interesting conversation. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, of our talk, I said these are two people from different businesses. One from a very, very organized and structured organization, and another person who is her own boss. But but we can see that both businesses from every industry suffer from expense management and kind of like need a system to put everybody in check. And I always say, till today, till tomorrow, CEOs need to be put in check. CEOs need to submit themselves to check. And if there's a system that puts in check, it means that businesses last longer, businesses grow,
and come to think of it, we are gradually going into the we have been for some time now into the global into the tech space, where a lot of our businesses are being handled in tech.
Yes,
so we
are
automated. So I think it's a very good privilege to use this, because talking about looking for investment from international bodies, these are very, very very, very good platform you can leverage on to give you a very organized financial book for looking for big investments,
for grants, for
funding
loans,
and all of that. So if you need to play big in the market space, you need to leverage on technology. And so the Everyday Money is like the best of I would say the best platform you can use to upgrade your game. It's a go-to for your business. I can tell you that for me, it's in fact, it changes your mindset on money.
Right.
It just changes your money knowledge,
your business money knowledge, your organization's money.
Exactly.
All right.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Thank you for staying with us, and you can get Everyday Money on iOS and on Play Store. Go ahead and download it for your organization. So you can download Everyday Money on Play Store and iOS, and you can book a demo with us on everydaymoney.app.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.